Hey guys, Heather and Nate here from Wheeling to Dream, and this week we're coming to you from Crystal River, Florida. We're so excited that you are here. Thank you for joining us, and today we just want to give you a little bit of insight into what we've been doing and our thoughts on it. So
well, we've been here for about 10 or so days now, and the first few days we were here we spent mostly in the Crystal River area around the Three Sisters Springs. We got our raft out and we took it out. We launched in at Hunter Springs and we basically rode all the way up the river there to the Three Sisters Springs area, and it was a pretty phenomenal experience getting there. Well, actually being there, I should say. Getting there was a little bit more of a pain in the butt than we would have liked it to be. There was some ups and downs to being in that area. I think the thing we enjoyed the most was probably the fact that we got to see multiple manatees in that area, which was pretty nice, although the water was kind of cloudy, so you had to get pretty close to them to be able to actually see them. It was pretty crowded there. There was a lot of people in the river. It was pretty noisy in some areas. We had to get away from the busy areas to kind of get that, calming, relaxing feeling that you get when you're out in nature. When we actually got to the Three Sisters Springs, we got our boat back there where the springs filter into the river. We got some swimming in, which was pretty chilly water, just a little exhilarating, but we had a lot of fun doing it. What were your high points and low points to the trip?
So day one we put in at Hunter Springs, like he said, and Hunter Springs, there's parking there, there's public parking there, which is going to bring in more people because they're looking for a place to park close, so they won't have to go as far. There's also a picnic pavilion, a little kids swimming area, and like some barbecue stuff around there, so it's really great for families if that's your thing. For us, we don't really like to be around people a whole lot. Not that we don't like to be around people, we just don't like to be around big crowds. So for us, that was a little overwhelming, and then trying to rein the kids in. For me, I didn't really like that area as much. It was pretty. And then another low point for me, and then I'll get to the high points, was the boats. There were a lot of large boats in that area, and they're all blasting really loud music and drinking. So when you have little kids, you might want to keep that in mind. I would rather shield my kids from half-naked adults and all of the drinking and the partying. I'd like to take part in it, just us, but I don't want the kids to be around it. So the second day we went to a different area and we put in, and that was much nicer. For things that I did like about Hunter Springs was the water was really pretty and it was warm to walk into. Like the springs in the area, the water is 72 year round.
72 to 74, right?
72 to 74 year round. So that's too cold for me. I'm a big chicken. But over in the area where you launch your boat in, it was warmer, so that was nice. And the houses were really pretty through there. So I like to look at houses.
So yeah, like she said, the second day we put in a different area. We put in at Kings Bay, which is not too far from Hunter Springs. It was a lot more wide open, but a lot less people, fortunately. On the downside, it was a lot more rowing, a lot more open water, and the wind gusts for us, because we're in a raft and we're paddling. There's a lot more paddling. It's a lot tougher to get to where we were going. But when we got there, it was totally worth the hard work. Other than that pretty much is it for that area for Hunter Springs and Kings Bay.
Hiding in the dark, but we can see through the lens that has captured us. So don't let it go. Get up to see me fall. We are standing in we don't need to talk. S-I-L-E-N-T, we don't need our words to speak. S-I-L-E-N-T, let your body set you free. S-I-L-E-N-T, follow me, I'll take the lead.
The next thing we wanted to talk to you guys about was going to Manatee Springs, which is actually up to the north, probably 30 or 40 miles from there. Luckily, our campground we're at is right in between the 2 points, so it's about equal distance to drive to each one for us. So anyway, I'll let Heather talk about Manatee Springs to begin, and then I'll kind of finish it off.
So Manatee Springs is gorgeous, and it's a state park. It's Manatee Springs State Park, and we actually tried to get some camping in there, but they are booked up months in advance. You probably need to look at a minimum during this time of the year. We're here in May, end of April, beginning of May. You need to look probably 6 months in advance, no less than like 4. They are completely booked out. The campsites are gorgeous. The park is gorgeous. It's quiet. It's a smaller park from what we could tell, but it's still like what they have to offer is just amazing. We love staying in state parks because of the nature, the access to nature is like right out your front door. You don't have to drive very far. But we really liked Manatee because when we got there, the wildlife was phenomenal. But so the day we were there, we didn't see manatees, but we saw fish, like huge. We don't quite know what kind they were. We're thinking they're some breed of catfish, but they were gigantic. And then we saw snakes, which it's not scary. They were like little water snakes. Turtles, there were like turtles everywhere. Literally look out into the water, and the water is crystal clear, all the way to the bottom, and you just see turtles littering the whole bottom of the river system. All sorts of teeny tiny little pretty fish, which our toddler really loved. She likes anything little. What else? Birds, alligators.
Oh yeah, there was birds all along the shore. When we got out to the actual river, out of the spring, we saw some alligators out there, some pretty large ones. There were probably 12 to 14 foot alligators out there. So we got to see a pretty wide range of all the wildlife that this area of Florida has to offer, which was pretty neat. The biggest drawbacks for me with Manatee Springs were, one, that she already said that we didn't get to see the manatees, unfortunately. Manatee Springs, we didn't get to see manatees. But it's a 50-50 chance. Sometimes, you know, they're there half the time, and then they're not there, and we just happen to be there on an off day. The other big complaint I had is the springs themselves are very small. The system from where the springs flow from the ground into the small canal there and then filters into the river is only a stretch of maybe a couple hundred yards, maybe. It's not a very long float, and then you're in the actual main river system right there, and it's dirty, murky, gross water, and it's way too wide to paddle.
Water.
Yeah, so you're gonna need an actual boat to go up that river system. But it was still much more serene, much prettier than the Three Sisters Springs area. A lot less people, it was a lot more peaceful, and like she said, we saw tons of wildlife. It was absolutely amazing. For the springs themselves, the Manatee Springs is probably the most beautiful springs that I've ever seen. Where the spring actually comes up out of the earth is probably a good, probably 40 feet down below the surface, and you can see all the way to the bottom, and it's just like bright blue water. And you can, it's cold. It's about 72 degrees, but once you get past that, it's absolutely breathtaking. You just have to be there really to get the full experience. It's pretty difficult for me to describe it. But
yeah, the waters were gorgeous. You could actually see the water flowing up out of the ground. It just created this current on top of the water that you could see just kind of swirling around. The water at Three Sisters Springs at Crystal River, it was gorgeous. I definitely liked it, and the views were pretty, but it was really crowded. So over at Manatee, you got a similar view. It was 1 or 2 springs coming up out of the water instead of like multiple ones in different locations. But it was still like the water was just gorgeous. You could see right to the bottom. I didn't get into the water at Manatee Springs because, again, I'm just a big weenie when it comes to being cold. But they did, and they loved it.
I could see this through. I could wait another night. One more night, one more night. I could fight it through till the darkness turns to light. One more night, one more night. Say it's gonna be okay, 'cause this winter is so long, feels like it's haunting me. Say there's gonna be a change, 'cause I feel like I'm just holding on to yesterday. But if I wait till the summer, oh, if I wait till the summer, oh, but if I wait till the summer, oh, I know it will be better, I can leave the truth, shut the blinds I could deny. One more night, one more night. I want a blister full, everyone that it's alright. One more night, one more night. Say it's gonna be okay, 'cause this winter is so long, feels like it's haunting me. Say there's gonna be a change, 'cause I feel like I'm just holding on to yesterday. But if I wait till the summer, oh, if I wait till the summer, oh, but if I wait till the summer, oh, I know it will be better, if I wait till the summer, I know it will be Say it's gonna be okay, 'cause this winter is so long, feels like it's haunting me. Say there's gonna be a change, 'cause I feel like I'm just holding on to yesterday. But if I wait till the summer, oh, if I wait till the summer, oh, but if I wait till the summer, oh, I know it will be better,
Overall, both experiences were they both had their ups and their downs. And Manatee was a lot smaller than I would have liked it to be, and we didn't get to see the manatees themselves, but everything else was absolutely amazing. And then with the Three Sisters Springs, we were there much longer, and we did see manatees, but the water wasn't quite as pretty, and we didn't get to see as much wildlife, and there was a lot more noise from people and boats and stuff. One last thing that I did want to go over, we did also get to do a little bit of off-roading in our Jeep a couple days ago in Goth National Forest. It's literally just
It's right here.
off-road trail after off-road trail after off-road trail. There's tons of mud if you like to get into the mud. There's really cool kind of scenic small trails that you can get on. Anyway, we had a lot of fun doing that for a few hours.
There are some really nasty ones out there too. If that's your thing, have a winch, some big tires, and take some snacks and some water, because there's so much to see in that forest. If that's your thing, if you like backroading, off-roading, whatever you want to call it, it's rough. because it's gravel, but
That pretty much sums up our stay since we've been here close to Crystal River and Manatee Springs. We've had it's been a good experience. So we would definitely recommend to anybody out there watching to check these areas out and see what they have to offer.
not many places in the United States where you can swim with manatees, where it's legal to get in the water with them. I mean, you can't touch them unless they approach you. There's all sorts of stipulations, but if you can get in the water with these gentle giants, like, it's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So if you're in this area, you should definitely check out both, like we did. And there's some more areas in this region where we've been told that we should go. We haven't had time, but that's about it.
Yeah, this state is
It's gorgeous.
literally littered with just hundreds, if not thousands, of springs to visit. So we've only visited a small handful, and we're pretty impressed. So
Yeah, we're typically beach people, so
Right.
we're pretty impressed with the springs. We're definitely going to be checking out some when we go down south towards the Miami region, because there's some down there. But if you are in this area, Crystal River, Three Sisters Springs area, and then Manatee Springs up north, you've got to go, look it up, and add it to your bucket list.
and once again, thanks a lot for watching, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Please subscribe if you'd like to see more.
Weekly videos drop every week on Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like he said, subscribe below, and we'll see you next week.